Welcome to the Daily Shortcut. My name is Dave Wood, and before we dive deep down into today's lesson, let me ask you a powerful question. What do you think the political rallies, canned laughter, and also buying rushes have in common? Well, I'm currently reading Robert Cialdini's bestseller book called Influence, and on page 116 he says this. He says, "The principle of social proof states that one means we use to determine what's correct is to find out what other people think is correct. The principle applies especially to the way we decide what constitutes correct behavior. We view a behavior as more correct in a given situation to the degree that we see others performing it. The automatic unconscious response mechanism triggered by social proof causes a switch to be flipped in the brain when we see others we perceive as like us taking an action that we're thinking about taking." What do I mean by that? Well, let me tell you a bizarre story I learned from selling stuff in front of live audiences that I remembered while I was reading chapter 4 of Influence today. In October 2011, before I started my company Empower Network, I was invited to speak in front of an audience teaching internet marketing strategies. I had never really been a fan of pitch events because the idea of getting a room of people to pay for training and then delivering nothing real but 3 days of pitches that are constructed to get people to pull out their credit card, it's incongruent with my personal value system and I just don't like doing it. As I was sitting there watching people, they were rushing into the front of the room, they were buying offer after repetitive offer, and what I was thinking about was how these people can literally sell anything and people want to buy it when they see other people who start to buy it first, creating evidence that buying this particular system is going to automatically create what you want in your life. So I decided to try something out. I wanted to see what would happen if I literally sold nothing. I mean, specifically, never describing exactly what I was offering, just to see what would happen. I wanted to see if people would buy it. What do you think happened? Well, more on that in a minute. The first time I understood the principle of social proof was actually at a convention hosted by a direct sales company called Agile Enterprises that I was a distributor for in 2006 to 2007. Randy Gage was talking about doing hotel meetings and presenting opportunity, and he held up a copy of the book Influence and started talking about how social proof works. I learned that the core decision mechanism in live meetings was actually testimonials and social proof, that you could literally do the best meeting in the whole world with no testimonials and nobody would buy. But if you did a bad presentation with tons of relatable social proof, you could close 80% of the room. Randy shared that when people are watching testimonials, they usually roll their eyes and they balk until something happens. And then what they do is they lean forward and their belief state shifts into, "I'm going to be rich," as they begin reaching for their credit card, having the automatic desire to buy. He then did a training on testimonials and constructed social proof at local live hotel meetings in front of the room, and it was amazing to watch. But the level of specificity for creating social buy-in is what fascinated me the most and what I learned the most from. The distributors were supposed to sit in the front of the meeting, leaning forward and taking notes, so the guests would be behind them and watching them take notes. We were instructed to laugh at every joke, even if it was the 10th or the 100th time we'd heard that joke, so other people would hear our laughter and they would start laughing too. Testimonials were selected specifically based on demographic relatability of the guests in the room and were taught exactly how to share their story in a way that was relatable with people who are like them in the audience. So we wanted a single mom, a baby boomer, a college student, a busy professional, a black person, a white person. Here's what the interesting thing was about the training. It worked. It actually didn't matter that the stories were unsubstantial. There wasn't any giant incomes or anything because it was in our local town. Things literally that were just like this. "Hey, my name's Don, and before I found this company, I was a struggling truck driver. I used to wake up every single day dreading my job, literally praying for a solution to come my way. And then one day I found this company. Now I'm excited because I see a way out of truck driving, and the best part is the product is working for me, and I'm more excited than I've ever been in my life. And that worked, right? Now, what would happen is as the testimonials were walking through their decision pattern and their struggles, the audience would actually perk up in waves, and you could literally see it in their body language from the front or the back of the room. As one person leaned forward and began making a decision to buy, the other people around them would automatically buy into the idea, and they would also make decisions to buy. Which actually brings me back to my story in 2011. So I walked on stage and I had a single goal: to see if the people would buy something without ever knowing what it was, removing all of the sales process, but storytelling, price conditioning, urgency, and social proof. Of course, I had real stories because I've been helping people like you make money online for years. So this could work for me because I have a real proof of dramatic change all around me in all my relationships in my life. And you know what happened that day? As the timer counted down, the body language of the audience began to change. As I lowered the price and another testimonial walked across the stage, the buy-in to what I was selling increased across the room and the resistance decreased. And 2/3 of an audience of 250 people literally were running to the stage, throwing money and credit cards at me. I mean, literally, they had cash and they were throwing cash and credit cards in a buying rush that can't really be described in any other way, but what the hell just happened? Literally, after these people bought, it was only $47, people were walking up to my assistant, who was Chris, my friend from growing up, and asking him, hey, do you know what the hell I just paid for? The room, they literally couldn't figure out what they just bought, and they bought it anyways. Of course, I delivered value way more than the measly $47 that they bought, and I created a product that we actually later sold about $30 million of, called the 15K Formula. It was $1,000 to buy. And we created a great customer experience for the people who decided to pull out their credit card, but that's not the point. The point is, isn't that story surreal? Social proof will actually create more responsiveness than logic or data in way more of the population than logic or data will be a convincer pattern for, if that makes sense. Which is why today's question is this: how can you utilize the unconscious, automatic decision response of social proof in your own business? Let me know in the comments your thoughts. I want to know specifically what your biggest learning was today, your aha moment. The best comment of the day wins our comment contest, which is described below. So be detailed and thoughtful in your comment and you could win. And I wanted to help you today by creating a better business and making a change with me in the marketplace. I've prepared 3 powerful bonus shortcuts to help you attract wealth faster while giving you more value and while you give more value to the marketplace with me. In your first daily shortcut, you're going to get a free PDF workbook you can print that will help you think through the planning and the tracking processes in your business and improve them dramatically. You're also going to get a transcription of today's episode so you can read it and you can actually internalize these ideas with me. In your second daily shortcut, you're going to get a free audio download you can listen to again and again to absorb these ideas into your unconscious mind. You'll become more powerful because you're learning powerful principles that create trust with the market by actually being worthy of trust. In your third and your most important daily shortcut, I'm going to give you my entire business system if you want it, which is called the Total Shortcut System. As you're watching these daily episodes, you can earn money and create simultaneous lifestyle if that's what you want to do. Simply fill in your name and your best email, then click the button that says, Give me the Total Shortcut, and you'll be immediately taken to download your 3 powerful bonuses. I'll see you in the next episode, and I wanted to tell you I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Leave me your thoughts in the comments, and remember, you can be transformational in the marketplace if you just make a decision to pay attention with me